I am Felicia Franklin, your moderator, your host, your favorite social butterfly. We are here on Unmuted, Season 3, Episode number 5. Technical difficulties and all, we are back. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so again, I with the new season, I like to start with the let's talk about. So before I realized that no one could hear me, I was saying that our trending topic, the state, local, and national topic for this particular week, is going to be all in one. I like to do a state, something local. We're in Montgomery, Alabama, something statewide, and something national. Now, this particular week, my topic for Let's Talk About is none other than Henry Ruggs III. Now, the series that we're doing right now is called Black Man Thrive. So how dare we bash this young man? We will not. But what I will say is everyone makes a mistake. I'm not condoning drinking and driving. I'm not condoning that at all. Everyone does make a mistake. The same the same rallying around everyone did for him when he graduated from school here, right here in Montgomery, Alabama, and went off to college, to the University of Alabama, and the same rallying around him that everyone did when he got drafted into the NFL. He needs that same love and support right now. He may have been at fault, but he is carrying a big weight on his shoulders right now. So let's all send love, send support. We can all send up prayers. He doesn't have to know we're praying for him, but we can all send up prayers. Let's send love, let's send support, let's send light out to that young man because he needs it right now. If there was any time he needed prayers, it is right now. So our let's talk about is Henry Ruggs III, and the reason I put it because he's from Montgomery, Alabama. So this is a local issue because he's right here from Montgomery, Alabama, and this is a state issue because he went to the University of Alabama. He's from Montgomery, and it's national because he was drafted into the NFL, and he needs that same love and support. So our trending topic in for let's talk about this week is Henry Ruggs III. Love, support, light, and prayers are what we're sending to him, and our condolences and prayers to the family of the young lady that lost her life. All right, so getting into the show, I always like to come in with an introduction. My introduction, I like to present to some and introduce to others that may not have ever seen an episode of Unmuted. And I want to thank you for tuning in on tonight. And for those of you that may watch the replay, hello, thank you for tuning in. I hope you come back. And for those that have been rocking with us every season, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate you. I really appreciate you tuning in, rocking with us, and seeing what we have to say, and then just enjoying the ride. Unmuted. What is Unmuted all about? Unmuted was birthed from a thought. It was something that I had on my heart that I wanted to do for quite some time, but because of my own feelings of being muted, because of my own my rejections, my fears, my insecurities. At that time, I felt that I would be judged, so I held myself back. I prepared for this behind the scenes, or it didn't have a name, but I prepared for it behind the scenes. But I never pushed it out because I felt that I would be judged by my past. I felt that I would be judged by the things that I had already gone through. I had gone over and over some things in my head and talk myself out of doing what I really thought that I needed to do because I was stuck. I felt stuck in my situation. I felt stuck in my past. I often felt alone. I often felt ashamed. I went through some things that I never thought that I would get through. And those things, they weighed me down. I felt that I was going to be misunderstood by a lot of the things that I had gone through because I didn't look like on the outside the things that I had already gone through on the inside. And I would often pray and ask God, why me? Why did I have to be the one to go through this? Why did I have to be the one to go through whatever it was that I was going through at that particular time? And then when I got my answer, I stopped saying, why me? And I started saying, well, why not me? Why not me? You know, We go through life and we grow through life. We all have life relationships, but the things that we go through and we grow through are not meant for us to just internalize and keep to ourselves, but they're meant for us to help other people get through the very things that we've already gone through and grown through. So that's what Unmuted is all about. It's about being transparent. It's about being relatable. It's about being open and being able to help someone else go through and grow through the things that we've already gone through. So I present to some and I introduce to others. Unmuted. Thank you for tuning in to season 3. This is episode number 5. Now, our episode with this particular season, we have started a series called Black Men Thrive. Now, the Black Men Thrive series is we've been bringing in other men from different backgrounds and letting them talk a little bit about their past and what shaped them into what they are now, where they are now. Because a lot of people say we're losing a generation. We're losing a generation that's coming up right now, but I think that we're losing a generation of the now, because there are so many men that are stuck in their past that they don't think that they can move forward, whatever the situation may be. So one of the things we've been doing, we've been bringing gentlemen on from different backgrounds, different ethnicities and whatnot to help, and their past may be sticky or whatever it might be, but we've been bringing them on to show other men, just because you've gone through something does not mean that you have to stay where you are. Now, I actually have a guest that I'm going to bring on. His name is Dr. Cali McKinney. So Dr. McKinney is he's a native of San Francisco, California, and after graduating high school, he received a presidential 4-year full academic scholarship to attend Alabama State University. And while attending Alabama State University, he majored in radio, television, communications, and media with a minor in criminal justice. That's a kind of extensive background, radio, media, and criminal justice. Dr. McKinney received his degree. He actually graduated magna cum laude from Alabama State with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in communications and media. And while at Alabama State, Dr. McKinney received a call. He received a call from God, and he accepted his calling, and he went into the ministry. He became a licensed minister in the Church of God in Christ, and he was later ordained as an elder. He has a very extensive background. He earned his master's degree in divinity. Dr. McKinney is currently employed with the Social Security Administration, where he worked since 1991. And he's currently the Alabama Public Affairs Specialist. He's also the founder of True Prosperity Financial Coaching Services. Dr. McKinney is happily married to his lovely wife, Evangelist Kimberly Howard McKinney, and she is formerly of Dothan, Alabama. So I want to bring him on tonight. He's going to expound a little bit more on himself and what he does. But this is another Black man that had gone through whatever he had gone through, and he wanted more than where he was, so he shaped his life to get to where he is right now. Now, I believe that no one can talk about you better than you can talk about you, so I'm going to let him expound a little bit more on himself, and then we're going to deeply dive more into what shaped him to do the things that he's doing, how he started his business, what was the background of that. And while he prepares to come on, I do want to give a major and big shout out to flexapparelthreads.com. It's flexapparelthreads.com. If you follow her name is Monica. You can follow her actually on Instagram at selfmade_beauty87. I started following her a few years ago. I kind of watched her transition. She's formerly prior military, the Air Force. She has a nonprofit organization, the Jelly Bean Foundation. You should check her out. But she does several different things. But I got this hoodie and a few more pieces from her. I wanted to patronize, and I love the quote. I never lose. I either win or learn. And this is a quote from Nelson Mandela. So if you could please check her out on Instagram, selfmade_beauty87. Check out her website, flexapparelthreads.com. And patronize, see what she has to offer. I think she has some great shirts, actually she has some great pieces. This is just one of them that I like. I have a few more pieces. Or check her out. She's a gym rat also, so you probably get some motivational tips. She has another line of businesses that she has. So by all means, please check her out. I always like to support someone and wear their apparel, just to support other small businesses. Hey, love is what love does, and that's support. So shout out to Flex Apparel Threads, the hoodie. They have several other different pieces. All right, so we're preparing for our guests to come in. Hey, Dr. McKinney, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Felicia?
Listen, it's been a very eventful night over here.
Yes, but you're making it work. That's the main thing. You're making it happen.
Thank you so much. So we've lost some people, but we're still here bringing it. So I introduced you. I gave a little bit about your background to tell what you do. But what I would like is, I feel that no one can talk about you better than you can talk about you. So because you know you better than anyone else. So I would like you to expound a little bit more. I told them where you're a native of San Francisco, California. You work for the Social Security Administration. You've started your business. You're the founder of Truth Prosperity Financial Coaching. So tell us a little bit more about Dr. Cali McKinney.
Well, thank you. Yes, and once again, I appreciate this opportunity to be on the show. I am from California. That's my home. I am the oldest of four boys, actually. So I'm kind of like the leader of the pack. But of course, we grew up in a home that was typical in one instance, but then also dysfunctional on the other. And unfortunately, in the midst of us growing up, my parents divorced, and actually father left when I was 11 years old, and that was the time that I actually gave my life to the Lord. But in short, that was also a time that I had to really ask God to help me, because I didn't have the affirmation that a man would need to have from a father. Being in the home. And so, of course, all those things that kind of went along with that, the self-doubt, the low self-esteem, the insecurities, all these things were factors. But what grounded me was my relationship with Christ. But now, one thing I used to pray at 11 years old is, God, my father's not here, but I ask that you make a man out of me and put people in my life that would do so. He did just that. It was, people in the church, people that, family members, older cousins and so forth, and they really made the difference. But, as a result of me being grounded in my faith and having these people in my life, God blessed me to receive a 4-year scholarship to attend Alabama State University. That's how I came here to Alabama on an academic scholarship. And of course, just even that story in itself was interesting, because at 17 years old, I left home at 17 years old. Now, of course, in coming to Alabama, my mother could not afford to fly me down. So I had a 17-year-old boy, had to take the bus, Greyhound bus, from California to Alabama. And it was a 3-day journey. And when I get to Alabama, when I get to the Greyhound station in Montgomery, Alabama, actually, come to find out the bus station lost all of my bags. And this is three days before school starts. So all I had was just the clothes on my back. So there were just challenges upon challenges that just kept coming my way. But one thing that has grounded me then, even to now, even with the insecurities and all the things, and that I would face growing up, and was a topic that a motivational speaker from the 1950s by the name of Earl Nightingale talked about, and it's the strangest secret. And before I talk about the strangest secret, I got to first, define what success is, because, unfortunately, there's many definitions out there of success. But one definition that I live by is that success is the gradual realization of a personal idea, or is the gradual realization of a goal. It's always gradual. It's always forthcoming. But then the thing is, there's a secret to that success, and it's the strangest secret. It's strange because people don't understand it, and it's a secret because not many people know about it. And that secret is you become what you think about. You become what you think about. And over life, I had to live by that principle. Of course, God had to help me through the trials and tribulations that I would go through. Of course, I heard your introduction about the athlete, of course, and the issues that he's facing. And we all have issues. We all have things we face in life. We all have decisions we've made in life. But it's not the fall. It's is what happens after the fall.
Right.
It's what happens next once you get up from that fall. And so, yes, I've made decisions in life that I wish I can go back and undo or rewind. But one thing that, again, I said, this strange secret, we become what we think about, has been so phenomenal for me to get me back on the right track. And, because I've come to find out that a man is what he thinks about all day long.
Right.
A man is what he thinks about all day long. And if I think in negative terms, I'll get negative results. If I think in positive terms, I get positive results. One thing, Felicia, I found out is the mind does not care what you plant in it. Now, it will produce what you plant, but it does not care what you plant. You can plant, corn, which is food, or you can plant nightshade, which is poison. That's why I found out that you have to be careful who you let speak into your life.
Yes, definitely.
And who you let, impart into you, especially as a man. Men need other men to affirm them. Or a son, I should put it this way, a son needs a father to affirm them. And when that's lacking, then that opens them up to all kinds of influences. And once those influences come in, it causes actions or reactions in a man's life. Most men that are out there that we see doing whatever they're doing is not that they want to, but they have no direction, and I could have easily been in that category. It's only by the grace of God that I am where I am and I'm doing what I'm doing. But, again, I got to go back to the mind because it starts in the mind.
Right.
It starts in the mind to the point that, I've come to find out that we are the sum total of our thoughts. We're the sum total of our thoughts. And we become what we think about. If I think success, I'll be successful. If I think negative, I'll be a negative person, negative reactions and things of that nature. And so, there's a scripture that's in Proverbs 23 and 7, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And then further, another scripture that talks about the fact that, with the same mindset, if you can believe, all things are possible.
Right.
To him that believes. So it's where you are. I think success is a progressive realization of a worthy idea or goal. It's progressive. It's always evolving. Success is not a particular station in life. Is something that happens over time, and a step by step that we get there. And if I were to speak to any man that has a past, because we all have a past, right. We all have issues. I would say that, first of all, you are not a failure, and failure is nothing but an opportunity to begin again more successfully or more intelligently, I should say. Failure is nothing but an opportunity to begin again more intelligently. I found out through the failures of my life that I can fail forward by learning what I needed to learn in that moment of whatever the issue is, or whatever the struggle is, or whatever the self-talk is I put upon my own self, the guilt or the shame, and to, again, go forward and take that and go to the next level, go to the next, make the next move or the next step. And I found out also that, you, and I would encourage any man, you are not your past. It might have been what you did, but it's not who you are. Yes, there's struggles. There could be struggles of all kinds, at all levels. But to the man listening out there tonight, you are not your past, and you are not your struggle. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, I want to go back to because I do want to talk about that. You are not your past, because I feel that so often men tend to, and not just men, but we're talking about, this series is about men. Men do get stuck in their past, but before that, I want to kind of talk about. You said something here when you said It starts in the mind. It made me think about the book The Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Myers.
Yes.
The battle is in the mind, and you know, especially how you say a man is what he thinks about. And if you're constantly thinking that you're not this or you're not that, and your mind, that is in your mind, that's your battle in your mind. And then not being able to get past whatever you've gone through. There's so many, and I know we have a social worker on that's tuned in tonight that's actually watching, and he deals with a lot of youth, a lot of adolescents, and I can know he can attest to the fact that, you know, even at that young age, you can see how some of the life situations have started to shape their minds. And then as they get older, then you have a man that's now stuck in that past, stuck in whatever abusive family ties that were going on, stuck in the lack of, you know, this or the lack of that, you know, getting past your past. How, you know, how do we help with that? You know, how do you get as a man, how do you get past your past in your mind?
Well, one way is, and I love this quote. I heard it, from my pastor, and I'll say it tonight. There's the day after the day. There is the day after the day. I know sometimes life happens, and it looks like that's the last day in our lives. But as sure as the sun rises up again, there's another opportunity. There's another reason to live. There's another opportunity to go forward. And the thing is, it starts with, again, believing that you have worth, that you have value. I say, and I have to, look in the mirror and say to myself, growing up in those days where, father was gone, and let me just say this too, by the way, one thing I had to learn too was forgiveness, because while in school at Alabama State, I was called into the ministry, as my bio says, and one of the first things God had me to do was go to my father and tell him that I forgive you. Now I was like, whoa. I didn't do anything. He should be coming to me. But God lets me know that if I'm going to minister love to anyone else, I have to first, demonstrate it through my own life.
Right.
And so we had that conversation. It was someone that I dreaded having. That when I went back home to California on one of my summer breaks, and because by the time father, mother were not living together, they were strained and so forth. And so I dreaded the conversation, but I had it. And when I had it with him, he didn't respond. I said, well, Lord, at least I did what I said I was going to do, what you told me to do. And so then as time went on, I wrote him a letter, sent it out there, and the letter was to thank him for all the good things he's done, all the things that that were positive. Still didn't get a response. But when I went home to visit the next time, I saw that same letter on his mantle in his fireplace. And I'm mentioning all this, because eventually what happened is there was a healing that took place that now we're the best of friends. I can say at one point that wasn't the case. It was, but that was the first step of getting free from my past, was first of all forgiving those who offended, those who did hurt, those who caused the pain, those who may have contributed to me making those decisions in my life. I had to get past that, by forgiveness, because
And let's talk about let's stop right there, because I just pinned a comment where he said, we were talking about people being stuck and young men being stuck. He said they are stuck in the age that the abuse starts, although they are 25 now, and the abuse started when they're 10 or 11. And so, and that happens so much. Like you said, forgiveness. For you, it was, you forgave him, even if he didn't apologize. You
mhm,
got it off of you. But oh, the non-transparency we have these days, that was communication. That, sometimes communication, and even when you reached out to him, how you said you forgave him, but you got nothing.
mhm,
Got nothing in return. But even in that, you still went back and you wrote him a letter telling him thank you. A lot of men would have stopped with the latter.
mhm,
They wouldn't have gone past the forgiveness. if they got to the place where they were able to say, I forgive you, if the person didn't receive it, then it would have never gone to the writing of a letter. That
Yeah.
was that's what we're needing. That's what we're needing to get to our young men, to teach, how to forgive, how to let go, because that's not always a taught thing, especially when you're coming from a broken home.
Yeah. And let me say this about forgiveness, and that's so true, Felicia. And, to not forgive is to keep us stuck in our past. To not forgive is like drinking poison yourself and waiting for the other person to die. To die.
Wow.
They hurt you, but you're drinking the poison of their hurt, and you're waiting for them to die. Because of the fact that you won't forgive. And so that was something that I had to do if I wanted to move forward. And it calls me again to go back to that point about you become what you think about. When I did that, my mindset began to change. That I am worth. I have worth. I am somebody, and that's what men need to know. People hurt, and we're hurt by society, we're hurt by family, we're hurt by all kinds of means. But again, it's what you do or how you react to how people treat you is so important. I'm not responsible for how people treat me, but I
Mm,
am how I treat them. And again, we become the sum total of our thoughts. I can choose the nightshade, the poison to come into my mind and cause me to live a life that's poisonous, or I can choose life and food to nurture myself, to go forward in life. Uh, and the thing is, I see the comment, what if you're not taught to forgive? And that's where it goes back to a relationship with God for me. It took a relationship with God where He taught me and He helped me to do what I couldn't do myself. No, could I just say, get up out of bed and say, well, yeah, I forgive you? No, that was nothing that I could do of my own strength. But in God, and with God, there's a scripture that we rely on. We can do all things through Him
right.
because He strengthens us. And so, but in that mindset, I had to again realize I was not a failure, and I speak this to every man that they're not failures, they're not their past, and also to loose the fetters off their minds,
Yes.
loose the fetters off the mind, and then because sometimes the limitations that we put upon ourselves are self-imposed.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
we we, we put our own things on ourselves. So and what happened, so anyway, as that has happened and flourished in my life, it caused me to make better decisions in life on all genres, relationships, physical health, and even financial. Because I've come to know that finances plays a big part in a lot of stress in a lot of people's lives. If you don't have it, of course, that's stressful all by itself. So one thing for me that was a blessing is my wife and I, of course, we got married to the couple. We were in debt, or all kinds of debt. We had max out credit cards and loans and everything that you can think of. And
Mhm.
so we got sick and tired and sick and tired. And as a result, we started our journey to get out of debt. And this started back in 2014 April. And in 2.5 years, we were able to pay off all of our debt free, $42,000. And so what that did for me is put a passion within me to help others in that same regard. So I started the True Prosperity Financial Coaching in August of 2017. And what I do basically or what happens is when people come to me, they're empowered to achieve results,
Mhm.
and their finances. And what man doesn't want to provide for their family? What man does
Absolutely.
not want to be the head of their house? So not just centered toward men, but anyone. So that's the passion that I have, and I have people that I've seen just transform because they made the decision. They made the decision to become better stewards of their finances, if I should say.
And I want to go back, and then I want to come back forward to where we are now. You were in a position, regardless of everything that you had gone through, and how your mind and the things that you had to deal with. And then you got into, you were in a situation, but you wanted better for yourself. So yes, you may have been in debt, but you wanted better for yourself.
That's right.
Your situation was saying this, but your mind was wanting something else. So
Mm.
you actually did something about that to get yourself out of that situation. And you founded True Financial true prosperity financial coaching. And I want to, the reason I went back to that to come back to this, because I know so many men are, they feel like they're stuck in whatever they have going on. For some men, it may be child support. For some men, it may be bankruptcy. For some men, it may be student loans. For some men, it may be just they just do not have. For someone, it might have been, they were locked up and they don't have anything, and whatever it might be, and they feel that they are stuck. Their mind is wanting something, but because of the situation they're in and what they see, they feel like they can't get it. But you took something. You got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Those were your words. You
Yes.
got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you took a step. You took a leap of faith to do something to better your situation. And on the other side of that, not only do you have true financial freedom and prosperity, but you're now teaching it to someone else. What you went through, you grew through, and now you're helping other people go through and grow through.
Yeah, and that's the story of life for anyone that wants to get out of where they are. You don't have to stay stuck where you are. There's life after the day. There's life outside of your block. There's life beyond your city limits. But you have to. It starts in your mind. You have to dream big. Dream beyond where you are. See yourself beyond today. See yourself beyond the moment that you're in. Again, you go where you're playing. That's why the rearview mirror is much smaller than the windshield on purpose. We're to reflect back every once in a while by looking in the rearview mirror. Every so often we look in the rearview mirror to reflect back, but we're always looking forward in the wide windshield of life. And that's for anyone to just take hold to that. No matter what happens in life, keep looking forward. Now, yes, is it a process? Yes, a success is the realization of a progressive idea or goal. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. But anything that you work for, you better appreciate, in life. So, but yeah, absolutely. You got to want it for yourself bad enough that in spite of the opposition, you're yet pushing forward, even when
Okay.
you can't.
So I want to, I know that the time is getting far spent. We had some difficulties, but I still want to make sure that we adhere to the time. I do want you to um, put your business out there. Your passion. Because sometimes when we will say business, but when you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work.
That's right.
So put your passion out there and let people know how they can reach out to you, how they can contact you, and something. Now, I do want to say this because we're talking about true prosperity, and I do have your website, KylleMckinney.com, KYLLE McKinney.com. Now, what I will do, I'll make sure it's in the comments, and when we upload to YouTube and even on the podcast, it's going to be some editing going on because we had a rough night. I'll make sure I put all of your links and everything in. But it was something that I thought was very interesting that you have. You do have an academy, but you also have a budgeting basics in a crisis. It's
Mhm.
I guess it's a monthly. Month,
Actually, it's an online course actually
okay.
that you can be a part of, and I created that in the midst of this pandemic. Because people were losing their jobs, people didn't have money. So that was an online course I created.
Okay, so tell us about the budgeting basics in a crisis. Because one of the problems is people don't know how to budget. Some people, we were never taught to budget.
Mhm.
As coming up, we had to learn these things as adults, which put us behind the curve just a little bit. But tell someone that may need to learn how to budget. Tell them a little bit about that.
Sure. And all budgeting is just a cash flow for your money. It's just giving every dollar drop. Nothing complicated, nothing profound. It's just cash flow for your money. It's giving every one of your dollars a job. Income minus outgo equaling zero, zero-based budget, and it's done each month. And when you live on a budget, and again, you can budget for anything you want to do. You can budget for a tuna fish sandwich. You can budget for filet mignon. So budgets are not restricted. People get that B word. No, it's strictly a system or a way to have a good cash flow where you, instead of wondering where your money went, you know where it's going. And it's simply, again, giving every one of your dollars a job. And so I created a course online on my website, True Prosperity Financial Coaching, www.KylleMckinney, all one word, .com, where you can go into products and services, of course, and click. And it's a self-paced course. You go at your own self-pace. You can start, come back, and this at your pace, learning these principles. Also have coaching services, of course, and that's if you want to see if my coaching is a good fit for you, you can first of all just click on the link and we can have a conversation where I can learn what your financial challenges are, and to see if my coaching would be a good fit for you. And so that's get on a Zoom call and just have that powerful coaching conversation. But my passion is just to see people win. I want to see people win. And no matter who, and it does not matter what kind of budget, income you have. Some six figures are living worse off than those that don't have six figures. It's all about how you manage your money and being a good steward and managing well. Because see, money, I'll say this and I'll get back to you. Money, it flows out of the hands of those who don't know what to do with it, to those who do. That's why it's called currency. That's why it's called currency. So, and those who don't know how to handle it, it flows from them into the ones who do, and so the main thing is true prosperity is not just prosperity financially, that's going to come, but when true prosperity comes, it also comes in it touches all other areas of your life, relationships, your health, your career. All these things are touched when you have the money part centered. And of course, God is the source of that, obviously, because all things belong to him. But it's just having a passion to see people win, and you can win, because if you do the work, if you have that passion to want to make, leave a legacy for your children, to want to be a giver, to bless others, to live comfortably, not living paycheck to paycheck, that's possible. And again, you can be empowered to achieve results by doing so.
Very nice. Very nice. Very well. And we thank you for that. Um, I want to thank you for coming on. Listen, thank you for getting kicked off, coming back on, getting kicked off again, coming back on,
My
all
pleasure.
the ins and outs and the restarts and everything. I'm gonna put you in queue if you hold tight for a second.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my good people. So I like to do a summary. It has been a seems like it's been a really, really long night. We had a lot going on with the starting and stopping. But of course, I always like to take notes. I like to get some tidbits because I like to do a recap of the night show. And our special guest, Dr. Cali McKinney, a true prosperity financial coaching. I really want to put out there now, please go on his website. I'll make sure I put the website in CaliMckinney.com. Please go on this website and check out and see if there is something for you. The budgeting basics in a crisis, that just really grabbed my attention, and I thought it would be something great to put out there because with everything that's going on, we need to budget. We need to at least learn how to budget. We need to teach our children how to budget. If you're already there and you got that down pat, then I'm sure he has another coaching service for you. He has an online academy. He has other things that he does as well, dealing with financial freedoms and snowballing and just teaching you how to maximize your money, how to assign your money. But budgeting basics in a crisis, I thought that was great. That would be something great. Even if you wanted to gift it to someone else, I think that would be, that's something great to look into. Now, as far as tidbits and different things, I want to kind of hone in on a couple of things that Dr. McKinney actually mentioned. Um, he mentioned that he prayed and he asked God to make a man out of him. He, even in a broken home state, he asked God to make a man out of him. With no man in a home, that was something big because we have so many families where it is a single parent household. What are our young men desiring? As a child, he was desiring for God to make a man out of him. That's something that was everything. Believing you have value. Oftentimes, when we go through certain situations, we feel that we've lost our value. We devalue ourselves. Sometimes we look at ourselves in a worse light than other people around us. We can often be our own worst critic, but believing in our own value. It starts in the mind. Oh my God, the battlefield of the mind, Joyce Myers. I don't advise anybody to go now. She doesn't sponsor me or anything, but I read the book. The book was gifted to me years ago, well over 10 years ago. Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. And one of the co-pastors at the church mentioned the book, and I went back and I started reading the book. I pulled it out and started reading it again, only to find out that she had a revised edition of it with a study Bible included. If you are having issues with taking charge of your thoughts and your mind is wavering sometimes, and you really have an issue casting down different things in your mind, and your mind is always wondering, I really advise that book, Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. Now, she has a lot of scripture, a lot of insight, but that is a great read. You become what you think about. It goes hand in hand with the mind. It's hand in hand. You become what you think about. So if you think negative on yourself, you're going to have a negative outcome. If you think positive of yourself, you're going to have a positive outcome. A man is what he thinks about. Let's think positive, men. Let's think of ourselves as being, what we have been, what God has intended for us to be. You're not your situation. You are not your past. You are better than whatever your past might have been. You are not your past. One other quote, he says, see yourself beyond the moment you are in. If you are in if your current situation is not your desired situation, see yourself beyond that. That's not just for men. We're talking about men tonight, but that's not just for men. For anyone, see yourself beyond your current situation. All right. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Unmuted. I'm not going to hold you anymore. We've had a long night. For those of you that came back in after we had some technical difficulties, I appreciate you. Thank you all so much, so much. I appreciate, the love. I appreciate the shares. I appreciate you rocking with us every Sunday night. You are so appreciated. Thank you for tuning in again. We'll see you next Sunday, the same time, same station, maybe without the technical difficulties. You all be safe, be blessed, have a great night.